back. Finally, we are live. This is the 100 Days of UI Design Challenge, and today we are taking another wonderful UI design with us, and we're going to break it down. We're going to make it. It is going to be one of the most amazing, wholesome projects we've ever done, especially for your UI UX design portfolios. Let's just get started with everything that we've planned for today. Right. This is what we're building out today. It is our very own travel UI. And basically, we are just going to build out this super duper awesome looking UI design. Let's just get started with the whole demo. So the very first thing that you notice right off the bat is this amazing looking hero section, which is perfect for the kind of UIs we're building today. There is also glass morphism here at play, which I'm super excited to talk about. Again, there is the commitment mission section, which is a must in all sorts of modern UIs, and we also have a wonderful gallery. This is a modern take on your average galleries, and it just has a lot of elements that I'm super excited to talk about. And the next thing that we're talking about is the why chooser section. This is our section of all of the features that we're currently offering. It's super duper fun to look at. It has these alternating color patterns, which I'm very proud of personally. And we also have a section about our testimonials. This is a very neat section. It's sort of using your very usual white, gray, black color schemes, and it just works on so many levels at just bringing the whole UI together. I am super proud of how professional this looks. And the next section that we have is a very essential, very useful section, especially in the current state of UI, which is our sign up section. It is a very proper sign up section as opposed to all of the other sign up sections that have been going on these days. There is a very proper option to sign in with Google, enter your email, and also a clause for your terms and conditions. So these are all of the most quintessential things that are going on in the current state of software design. And as a UI designer, you have to be ready to have the option to sign in with Google, enter your email, all sorts of terms and conditions and everything ready. And today's footer is going to be one of the best ones we've ever done yet, because it not only talks about the name of the brand, it also goes through all of the quick links, all of the site maps, all of the destinations you'd want your user to go to. It goes to give you an option for your newsletter as well, which is very important these days for almost all businesses. And it also gives you the legal line here, which sort of goes through your all rights reserved, privacy policy, terms of service, cookie preferences, etc. Overall, this is one of the most fabulous UIs we've done in a really long time. I am super duper happy to share this with you guys. You can find all of these images that we're using today in our Discord group, which is linked in the description. So you can find the link in the Discord group, of the Discord group, in the description. Join in and find all of these images. Everything is right there for you. Let's just go back to our Figma and start designing. So the very first thing you're going to do is just click on the plus at the top of Figma. If you haven't installed Figma yet, go ahead and install Figma, because it is very important, especially in the sort of UIs that we build now. Click on new design file, and that's going to create a new design file for you. Figma is completely free, by the way, especially if you're just starting out. It has the perfect starter plan. So just go to figma.com/downloads, install Figma, and just create a new design file. The very first thing that we need to take care of here is building out our first hero section. The size that we're using for today's UI is actually a fun one. It's 1280 by 720 pixels, which is the most fun size ever. Just drag and drop the frame to create a really nice looking rectangle. It doesn't matter if the size isn't right yet, just do 1280 and then change the size back to 720. This gives us our beautiful frame. The next thing that we're going to do is start with our navigation bar. So we're going to create one other frame, drag it across, and that is going to be our navigation bar. The fonts that we're using today are quite simple, but they're quite important, especially if you're just starting out with UI design. Like, people use them all the time and it's just so important to get these right. We're using a combination of 3 fonts. The first one is obviously the star of the show, Playfair Display. The second one is our usual font, the one we're always using every single time, Inter, the perfect font for any use case. And the third one today is actually a fun one, Veera Sans. We haven't ever used this before on this channel, which is why I'm quite excited about Veera Sans. Next, we're going to go back and create a navigation bar for ourselves. So for the sole reason that we know this is a navigation bar separate from our background, we're going to add one effect of our drop shadow, and then we're going to go right here to its settings, increase these values of the y-axis, increase the value of the x-axis, sorry, bring this number down maybe to a 9, change the opacity over here to solid black, and we're going to add a fill as well. So this is going to make sure our drop shadow is actually visible. The only reason we did this is so we can have a visual differentiation of where our drop shadow starts and where our hero section sort of ends at the top. Alright, so let's just get started right away. The first thing that we need to make sure of is we add the name of the brand. Today's brand is going to use a really, really fun font, as I mentioned. Veera Sans Elite Escapes is the name of our brand. We're just going to make sure everything is perfectly aligned over here and bring this to a font change. Let's do Veera Sans. And we're also going to increase the font size a little bit. It's just going to go up to 16. If you guys want all of these images, just go join the Discord group. It's like first link in the description right there, and you can have a lot of fun there. We have all sorts of images that we use for the 100 days of UI design challenge. It's a complete blast. All right, the next thing that we need to make sure of is, you know what, I feel like this is still quite difficult to look at, which is why I'm just going to remove it. Let's add a fill here just so we know we're doing something different. This is Elite Escapes. The next section we need to take care of is Home, About Us, Exclusive Offers. So this section is talking about all of the important links in our navigation bar. Let's just go right here and we're going to create 3 different links, all in Veera Sans. We're going to reduce the font size though from 16 to 12. So we've just copied our first text box and we're going to change the text here from Elite Escapes to Home. And then we're going to copy and paste it one other time, About. And let's now also do Exclusive Offers. It is quite important to include the most important offers, especially if you're in hospitality or something that has exclusive offers that might make the deal better for your audience. So it's just nice to have one of those things up at the top. We're going to click on Shift and then select all of these elements individually, then right click and group the selection. This is going to create for us a really nice group where we can individually edit all of these things out. We're going to select all of these elements now, change the font size from 16 to 12, and also go right here to the layout section and adjust the internal spacing so that everything is just perfectly aligned. Alright, 47, let's do 48. 48 should do good. Alright, now we're going to take this group and align this by clicking on this button perfectly in the center of our frame. Now that we have taken care of this, we are going to go right here, and now we are going to design our call to action button. This is super duper important, especially when you want to bring the user's attention to this one action point. Any user that walks in, you want them to get in touch, you want them to do something as soon as they look at the navigation bar. So we are going to build this guy out now, which is going to take one of these links, copy it, paste it outside, and also we're going to change the text. So text is going to say get in touch. Today's UI is quite honestly one of the best builds we've done, and I know I say this a lot, but this is truly something you can place on your portfolio. We're going to add an auto layout, make sure our padding is on point here. Give it a lot of padding, give it a lot of space, give it some time, and it does work out quite beautifully. We're also going to add a border radius just because, and we're going to add a fill just so we know that it looks quite different. Make sure it's aligned perfectly on its edge. Add a little bit of border radius because why not? Let's do 8. Let's do 8. Say hi in the chat, everybody. This is super duper fun. People rolling in. Say hi in the chat. It's just fun to have all of you over here. All right. The next thing we need to add is our hero section image. The way you get the hero section image is you join the Discord group, which if you haven't joined the Discord group yet, why have you not joined the Discord group yet? You know what? I'm just going to quickly get the Discord link where you can find all of our images, and I'm going to paste it in our chat so you guys can join the Discord group. And inside the Discord group, you can find all of these images that we're talking about today. Atul says hi, Abhinand says hi. Hello everyone, welcome to the 100 Days of UI Design Challenge. We are finally back. I'm so happy to be back again. This is day 34. We're picking up right where we left off, and we're going to download all of these images. Just quickly download all of the images that we have. As soon as we complete 500 subscribers, I've got a ton of special things planned, so that's going to happen as well. It is nice to finally be back in this place. Let's now go back to Figma, and we're going to go to our downloads. Just go right here, go to your rectangle, and just go down to image, and this is going to let you import your images. We're going to get this hashtag first image that we're going to use over here. Very, very simply, you're just going to click inside, and that's going to place this image inside for you. You don't have to worry about sizing and all of those headaches. We just take care of it from the start. Drag this so that the frame is a little bit bigger, and right click and send this guy to the back. You can also adjust this to make it a little bit smaller, just so you have a quick visual at what you're doing, and I'm going to demonstrate what I mean by that. We're going to make sure the prototype setting is set to Android expanded. Figma recently gave us a lot of prototype machine options, for example, Android expanded, and all sorts of variations on it, and I'm so happy. Why is this hanging? While this loads up, I want to talk about how many options Figma recently gave us. Back in the day, they just used to be so limited. Like, you would have 4 of these, 2 of these, and that was pretty much it. Then you would have your paper and your very, very non-framey sort of prototype ways. Now Figma has given us a lot of options, starting from Android Compact to Google Pixel, Macintosh 128K, which is awesome. I hope you've loaded. Alright, so this is loaded. So the only reason we were changing the size of this image is because it gives us a lot of variation in terms of how much space we want to leave. Some people don't always want to leave space, they just want to fill up the whole screen, which is not a wrong concept. But if you're designing for senior citizens and people who are beyond a certain Gen Z kind of age, it is almost always wise to have a little bit of space at the bottom. The reason being, not everyone knows that you have to scroll after the first hero section, which is a nightmare if you're looking at it that ways. Hero sections nowadays are so complete in terms of you having a tagline, you having a description. If your hero section is well made, it is genuinely hard to tell if there's anything left to scroll down to, which is why I do believe in leaving a little bit of space here. If you don't leave a lot of space, people do get confused and just don't decide to scroll, which is quite weird in my opinion. But not everyone is used to the TikTok sort of, Instagram Reels sort of scrolling that we're sort of used to doing. So it's always wise to have a little bit of space at the bottom. Anyways, you can adjust this to see what floats your boat, but I think we'll go to 720. That should do the trick. And now this is what our image currently looks like. I am going to change this color from red to white because it was a placeholder anyways. The button also needs a border, so we're going to add a stroke, not to the text. We're going to go right here and add a stroke to the button, and this is going to give us our wonderful call to action button. The fun thing you can do here is add another state of this button, so when the user hovers over it, the background color changes to black and the foreground color changes to white. If you guys want to see me animate that, just type A in the chat really quickly and we'll animate this button too. While that is happening, I want to go to one other interesting concept today, which is glass morphism. Glass morphism used to be quite the trend back in like 2020, and then people just stopped talking about it, but I still use it occasionally. The very, very simple way in which we're going to do this is we're going to create a frame, add a fill of white, and align this perfectly in the center. You can just wait, you can just move something around and wait for Figma to give you the proper red lines to promise you that everything has been taken care of. This is my favorite part of Figma, absolutely. The next thing that we need to take care of here is adding a couple of elements. So I don't want to get into glass morphism before we have something to put on top of the glass, which is why I want to have my title, description and everything else ready. Let's bring out the title. The very first thing we're going to do is type out our title, which is Discover Your Dream Gateway. Discover Your Dream Gateway. Atul says to animate, and we will animate this as soon as we're done with this glass morphism section. We're just going to get to that in a second. We're going to change the font now to Playfair Display. Oops, not Playfair. Playfair Display. Playfair Display has such a powerful... Playfair Display is such a potent font in itself. Like, it's underutilized all the time and just people forget it from time to time, which drives me crazy sometimes. Let's just make sure everything is perfectly adjusted inside. And we're going to reduce the line height by a whole lot because Playfair Display automatically comes with a pretty chunky piece of line height. So you might want to reduce it. Also, you might want to adjust these internal letter spacings. I think what we had in the beginning looked fine, which is why I'm not going to worry about it. Align everything in the center, and also make sure to align this guy inside of our frame as well. So you can just do this and that's going to align it perfectly in the center for you. The next thing we need to take care of is our description. Crafting golden standard travel itinerary. This is actually a long one. I'm just going to copy it. If you guys want to do this, you can just pause the video right here and copy this whole thing out. Otherwise, I'm just going to paste this because it's going to take a whole lot of time. And we're going to get to the important part, which is styling the font. So we're just going to create a sample text box because otherwise it just disappears. And we're going to paste the text that we just copied here. You can put any text here, absolutely. Reduce the size, change the font size. What font size do we put it at? Let's do 14. You know what, 16 looks good too. Let's do 16. And the font that we're using today is Inter. This is the third font that we're using today, Inter. Also, we want to make sure that it is set to regular, which is just our plain size. We're going to take this title over here, take this section, reduce the width, perfectly align everything in the center, reduce the line height some more if you're not happy with the way it looks. I think this is fine. We should do 108. That seems to be the perfect spot. Let's place this right here and we're going to design the two of our buttons. The thing to notice here is both of these buttons are actually quite similar. They are a variation on the top button, the call to action button that we've done on the top. We're just going to copy it and paste it once again. Take this guy down and reduce the border radius. So I feel like the border radius has been reduced to like 2. So we're just going to keep that and change the font to Inter. This is very, very simple stuff. Like, you don't have to be worried about it at all. And change the font to a thickness of semi bold. The text that we're using here is start your journey and learn more. So we're just going to change this to start your journey, and we're going to design one other button which reads learn more. All right, something that we need to take care of here is both of these have an equal amount of width. So the way we're going to do that is we're just going to go right here. Instead of it saying hug, we are going to give it a width of fixed width. So this is going to make sure we can manually put the width that we are using. So we're going to change this to 222. This looks good. We're going to go to the other guy, change it from hug to fixed content, change this to 222 as well. This gives us a lot of flexibility in terms of how wide we want to make the button. I feel like 222 is a little too much for now. We can reduce this as well. Let's do 204, and we are going to give these to put these two in a single group and add an auto layout. The best thing about auto layout is it automatically aligns things together in a line, so you don't have to worry about it for each single element manually. The next thing that we're going to do is set these two apart. So one of these needs to have a black background, one of these needs to have a white background. We're going to change the background color here to black, remove a stroke because we don't need the stroke, and also change the font color to white. Very, very simple stuff. All right, I feel like this is very close to what we were aiming for. Let's change the stroke to white as well, because white strokes on glass morphism look heavenly. Now let's get to our most important part of this whole section, which is the glass morphism itself. The way we're going to make this happen is go to your rectangle, go to your frame, reduce the percentage of your fill color, so reduce the percentage of white. Let's bring it down to about 30, 32. This is fine, any number here is fine, don't worry about it right now. Now you're going to go to your effects, add an effect of background blur. This is going to blur everything that's in the background. Now you want to make sure your background is blurred by a whole huge number, so we're going to increase this number until things become hard to look at. You can still reduce the number that's here, but this looks fine too. Next, we're going to add a stroke and make this stroke white. This is where I feel like white strokes are so important, and we also needed to remove the fill over here, so we're going to get rid of that. It's still a little bit harder to look at than this one, and that's because we haven't increased the background blur as much as we need to. It needs to be quite blurry in terms of the background, and also the fill needs to be very, very light. So this is still too dark. This looks good. This looks like a good center point, and we are going to make it have a little bit of border radius. Border radiuses just make glass morphisms cuter, so that is the way it's sort of done. I feel like the buttons could use a little more border radius as well. You can try and go below 2, you can go to 4, or you can go to 6. I'm just going to do 4 because that works for me. Let's select these buttons and align them perfectly, align everything perfectly in the center, and with that you have your very own glass morphism hero section. Congratulations, well done. The next thing that we need to take care of is, once again, our second section. This is our mission section. You are going to find that this is quite easy to build, but before we do that, I do need to think about the button animation, which we just talked about. So we're just going to go right here, and I'm going to quickly demonstrate what animating the button is going to look like. Let's put this right here as requested by Atul. We are going to change this to have everything that our final button state needs to have. So we're going to change the background fill to black, change the color of our font to white. We can either get rid of the stroke or not have it at all, it doesn't really matter. And then we're going to try a couple of things. We're going to take this, add an interaction. The trigger is going to be either on tap or on drag mouse while hovering. While hovering I think works best, and it's going to open an overlay of frame 4. So let's try this out. I'm not entirely sure, but it should work. Oops, it doesn't work right now. In fact, it does, but it opens the overlay in the center of the screen. We don't want that. We want it to be exactly where the previous button is. So now we're going to change the position and we're going to do it manually. You could move this guy around and it would change its position, but I want it to be exactly where my previous button is, and the red lines of Figma do a wonderful job at making that happen. You can check the background option, but it's just going to give you another background for this overlay, which is actually quite bad because you don't want that to happen. So we're going to remove the background. Animation style can be instant or dissolved or moved in. I'm just going to do dissolve and ease out just for now. You can experiment around with it, but it doesn't really matter. It's just the animation style. And now when you hover over it, check this out, you guys. This works so well. We could adjust the animation function. I feel like it takes too long right now. 100 seconds could be great. But other than that, check this out. This is so amazing. Like, genuinely amazing stuff. I'm so proud of it. You can do the same exact thing for these buttons as well. And I feel like we should. Because now I'm on the dopamine of making button animations. Let's do it. We'll go to this guy, create a new button, place this outside, and we are going to alternate the state, add a stroke, change the color inside to black. These are just two different variations of the same thing, so you can just try it out if you want to. Go right here to the prototype section, add an interaction. The trigger is going to be while hovering. Action has to be to open the overlay off, and the overlay is frame 6. Position is going to be manual, and that is it. We're going to also create a version for the learn more button, and this is going to animate when you while hover over it, add the interaction to open the overlay, repeat. Perfect. We're going to make sure this looks like the way we need it to. So we're changing the background fill, removing any stroke, and also changing the font color. Check this out, you guys. This is pure magic now. How cool is that? Oops, I feel like we didn't change the text, so it came out wonky. But oh my god, I cannot type. What a disaster. Super duper fun stuff. Check this out, you guys. All of these buttons animate so well. Like, you wouldn't expect them to animate this well. Let's get rid of the fill because the glass morphism is always there. Let's get rid of the fill. That should do our job. Check. Oops, I don't think that did our job at all. Let's just keep the fill for some reason. This works so well. This is awesome. Like, you could experiment around with it, work with it as much as you want, but this is actually an extra effect. It wasn't even present in our first prototype, so I feel like this is such an improvement over what we did. I love the elegance of the call to action button. Genuinely amazing stuff. Let's now go to our next section. Super duper fun. This is going to be our mission statement, and I feel like this is very simple to build. It just looks elegant, and that's why there is a level of question that beginners ask themselves, can I even build it? Yes, you can. It's very simple. Playfair display here, Veera sans here. Very simple stuff. We're going to now build out our first title for this next section, and this is going to have our commitment to excellence. This is sort of the sentence that we are building out. Let's just copy this whole sentence, and I'm going to teach you how to style it. You can pause the video and type this out yourself, or you can just type out anything else you want to. All right, let's get this text, and we're going to change this now to a shade of golden. So we're just going to go right here, search for a shade of gold that we like. If you are not very sure on what golden shade to use, you can go directly down to your hex code. Instead of typing out your actual hex code, you can type GOLD gold for bright shade of HTML gold, or you can type golden rod, GOLDENROD, golden rod. This is going to give you a very close shade of golden that we're using here. So this isn't exactly the same shade. Obviously, you can experiment around to find something you like even more, but rule of thumb is goldenrod is your very best friend over here. Now we're going to reduce the font size and bring it down from 64 to 36. Very simple stuff. click on this button. This is the button for auto width, and it just aligns everything in one single line for you. Click on this center alignment button, and that's just going to align everything in the center of the screen for us. Now that that is taken care of, we're going to copy this section and paste it here again. This is going to be a different variation on what we just did. Unforgettable adventures await. Let's type that out. Unforgettable adventures await. Alright, now we're going to go back to a similar version of what we just did. Change the font color, change the size over here. You can just change the size and experiment around and see what works best for you. Let's reduce this a little bit because it seems a little too big for now. 56 looks good. Align this guy in the center, click on the same button, and we are also going to add a description text. So the simplest way to add a description text is to use the lorem ipsum plugin. Of course, you can pause the video and type this whole thing out, but I just feel like that's going to take a lot of time, and I don't want you to pause the video, fall behind for such a long period. Let's now copy this, paste this right here, and we're going to go to our resources button. Lorem ipsum plugin by DivRiots. If you don't have it in your recents, you can just search for lorem ipsum, best plugin ever. Atul says, it's crazy, it's like crazy animation. Thanks for the effort that you made in request on mine. You're very, very welcome. Thank you so much. Now we are finally building out our description, and we're going to do 2 sentences of random text. Let's do 2 sentences. Let's generate this, and we're going to change the font from Playfair Display to Veera Sans. Let's do Veera Sans. This should look good. F-I-R-A, oops, F-I-R-A Sans works good. And we're going to change the font to regular because that is what we need right now, and reduce the font size by a whole lot. Let's do 20. Should 20 be good? 20 seems good enough. Alright, the one trick that we are using over here, the one I wanted to talk about, is the power that gray has when you are using colors with very, very high contrast. So when you're using colors that have black and white on one single page, like we have here, or golden black and white, which is black and white and then one very powerful popping shade. You could have black, white and orange, black, white and deep blue. If you have any colors that have a lot of contrast in them, you might want to have a couple of font paragraphs that are gray in color, so they just sort of blur into the whole site. They are visible. I do want to add that it is quite visible, but it isn't the one thing that pops. So Playfair Display is a font that pops out of your screen. Golden is a color that just pops in your face. Black on white or white on black is something that pops in your face. It's nice to have fonts that are just simple and plain, and your mind doesn't have to work on overtime to process what they are. This provides the right level of balance. Even if this font was black, it would be quite a problem for us. Gray is the perfect sweet spot, so that is something that we need to be quite proud of as well. We are going to add a little bit more text because I underestimated the space that it would take. Let's do 5 sentences, and we can get rid of a couple of sentences if we are not happy. Let's get rid of it. We're going to change the font color. We can increase the line height now. I feel like we've earned it. Change it to auto, and we're going to change the color to gray. So you can go for any shade of gray you like, and it sort of depends on how much contrast there is. This has a lot of high contrast and things are just popping in your face. That's what I mean by contrast, just things popping in your face. So I'm just going to get this shade of gray, which I'm kind of liking for now. 7E, 7E, 7E. You can do this too, or you can do 8D, something like that. Any light shade that you want, it doesn't really matter. But it provides you a very calm sense of balance, which users need after a font like Playfair Display, which has its serifs and its edges and black and golden in the same page. Those are quite hard for your brain to process all at once, especially if everything is popping out on the face. This is a pro UI designer tip. All right. The next section that we're talking, again, it's quite important to leave a lot of space at the top, leave a lot of space at the bottom, just so there is a lot of breathing room, white space. After you've taken care of that, we're going to build out the gallery of our dreams. This is actually a special layout because it works on this weird image going out but also border radius kind of feel. My favorite thing ever. So the next section we're building out is gallery of our dreams. You can find all of these images in the Discord group. If you haven't joined the Discord group yet, go join it. It's in the live chat, it's pinned in the description, so that should be fun too. Back. We are now designing the gallery of dreams. Let's go back, get this title, because I feel like we'd have to do the least amount of work to get from here to here. If we did this, we'd have to change the color. If we did this, we'd have to change the color and also font. So this is the closest one. So I'm just going to be lazy, copy and paste it. In fact, it's not even lazy work at this point, it's just smart work. Change this text to gallery of dreams, and we're going to increase the font size by a whole lot. This is actually a large font, and also we are increasing the boldness here. So instead of bold, we're going extra bold. Instead of 108, instead of 64, we're going for 108. Both of these are very huge changes in terms of the font size. Let's go back and change this to 108. Let's increase the line height to 110 because I just feel like it needs it at this point, and we're going to change the thickness from bold to extra bold. We also want this to be in one single line instead of worrying about it, adjusting it with all of these handles and sliders. Click on the button for auto width, solves all your problems. We want this to be aligned on the left side, so we're just going to take it, drag it, leave a little bit of space over here, align on the left, perfect, and go to the top, drag this guy down, works perfectly. The next thing we need to add is our image. So in fact, we need to add our description too, and this is actually, I feel like this is the same thing, and the same font size and everything is just completely the same. So we're just going to go right here, copy this, paste it here as well. You can type out the exact description if you want to, but I'm just going to get rid of a little bit of text, and that is going to be it. This is my description for now. I'm going to align it to the left and also use auto width to get in one single line, align these two guys together. I know they feel like they're very aligned towards the left, but it's just looking good for now, and our gallery section is ultimately aligned towards the left. That is the tricky part. Let's go back up, get our image and align it to the left. So we're just going to go to our Discord group. All of the images that we've downloaded are right here. We're going to view them with extra large icons and get our gallery image. This is the image that we're using. If you're not too sure on what size to use, how much border radius to add, we've already picked out those things for you. You're just going to align this perfectly with the edge. Take both of these and align them perfectly here as well. Get the title shifted above. Add a little bit of space between the image and the title. And now we're going to add the previous and next button. These are very similar to each other, just reversed. And also there is a navigation bar here as well. The way we get our icons, especially the previous and next ones, is we're going to go down to the resources button, search for iconify, and go and search for next and previous for our icons. Again, you can search around here for a little bit. Iconify changed their UI, and I think I I'm not even sure I like what they've done now, because the previous one just used to be so much better. Now we're just going to get our next icon. I was hoping the next icon would be in a circle, but it isn't, so let's just make do with what we have. Let's get this one. Drag it out, place it right here, and we're just going to get a circle to go along with it. We're going to reduce the width by a whole lot and add a layout, an auto layout. Make sure the padding on both sides is exactly equal. Add a fill, add a huge border radius so this guy is rounded off completely. If you're not happy with the way it looks, add a little bit of spacing. Make sure to align this in the center completely so everything is just perfectly rounded off. We're going to zoom in. This looks cool. We can change the spacing here. This looks super duper fun. Let's go right here, and we're also going to add a stroke. So this is a gray stroke. Let's add a gray stroke outside. Change this to gray. You can just use the gray that we've been using, or just make it a little bit lighter. This looks cool. And now we're going to reduce the size of the vector some more, because I'm not happy with the way it looks right now. Oops. Link them together, reduce the width, place it right here. Alright, works perfectly. Let's do 8. Let's do 7. 7 should do us some good. Alright, we're going to go right here, copy and paste this guy here once again. We have two different versions of the same thing. Take this button, place it right here, and now we're going to flip it horizontally. Get another button, place it right here, and I feel like that's pretty much it. We are done with our buttons for now. The next thing we need to add is a bottom navigation bar. Let's do navigation at the bottom. So we're going to create 4 simple circles, one of which is black, other 4 are gray. Very, very simple stuff. Let's just zoom in, create a circle, make it very, very small. Oops. Link it together, reduce the width. Height reduces along with it. I feel like 10 should be a good size to work with for now. And then we can just duplicate it 4 different times. Copy and paste it a whole bunch of times, 4 to be exact. Alright, now we're just going to get this group. We're going to group all of these together. Just press shift and select all of them at once. That's going to select all of them for you. Then shift, click on Control G, and then that's going to create a group for you. Now we're going to get our first one and change the color to black. All of these others are going to have a shade of gray. You can do a shade of gray which is having a little bit of blue in it. Sort of just go with your color picker tool, select a color from the seas, because that's just going to play really well over here. Reduce the color of this, sort of get it on a more grayish tone. I feel like this aligns so much better with our whole image and our whole vibe right now, so I'm just going to keep this shade of gray. This is A7B 5B6 in case you're looking for the exact shade. And now we're going to add a little bit of spacing here so everything is perfected out. So we need a little bit of breathing room here as well. And the next thing that we're doing is actually in line with what I always say. If you find that your site is getting boring, before it does get boring, just change the background color and change the font colors along with it. So that changing colors provides your brain with a fresh sort of relief on everything that's been going on, and you have to do it every couple of sections just to keep things fresh, just to keep users' brains interested in what you're building out. Let's leave a little bit of space at the top and then build out our box. Go right here, shift it above by a couple of pixels, and we are going to do this section next. This is the why chooser section. It is quite interesting because we take a really nice shade of blue, really nice shade of yellow, and alternate them together, and that should create some really nice effects for us. Let's just go. I feel like we've done like 4 sections: navigation bar, hero, missions, and gallery, and 4 are left, which is fun stuff. Let's just build this guy out now. Change the background color to black. In fact, rather than doing black, I want to do a lighter shade of black, just so it's easier on the eyes. You can go 111 if you want, and that should be nice. In fact, just to make it easier on the eyes, and I promise you this will make it easier on the eyes, select your frame, go to the selection colors. Everywhere it says 000, you're going to change it to 111. This makes things very, very easy, especially on the eyes, especially when you're using large chunks of text. I'm just going to run with it. This looks super nice. I'm just going to run with it. The next thing we're going to do is add a section here and add a description here as well. So we are going to go to the top and get this guy and this guy, and just, this is the exact same text style that we've been using so far. Drag it over here, right click, bring to front, and we're going to change the font color here to white, which works. We're going to change this guy to white as well, because I feel like gray becomes a very dull shade now. You can go with a very, very light shade of gray, but this actually works better. You can use ED, and that's just a better shade overall. And we're going to get both of these, click on shift, select both of them at once, group them together, press Ctrl G, and that's going to group this guy together. Press this button to align it perfectly in the center, give it a little bit of space, and now let's add a little bit of text. Let's do why choose us. Why choose us, and experience luxury like never before. Let's type this out too. It becomes so easy to just get your titles, get your descriptions, especially if you've done them right once, and they just become reusable components. It's the sweetest thing ever. Experience luxury like, oops, why can I not type like never before? I feel like this is going to make a brilliant compilation one day, just me not being able to type anything at all, especially in the live streams. The next thing we need to add is a couple of icons for our personalized itineraries, 24/7 concierge service, and everything else. Let's get ourselves a couple of icons. Let's do icons from Iconify. We're going to go back, and where did my file go? Where did it go? Let's go back to our file. I think I cut it for some reason. I'm going to open this in editor once again, and now we are going to get our icons. We're also going to get a light shade of orange and a light shade of blue, because they work so well together. They're quite contrasted, and that is going to be fun stuff. Let's go back to Iconify, and we're going to search for personalized itineraries. You could search for, I feel like you could search for all of these icons specifically if you wanted to, but this current video is more about just getting the styles and everything working. So I'm just going to get this one single comment icon, and we're going to work with it. You can get yourself a separate icon, sort of work with it if you want to, but I feel like this is good enough for now. Reduce the width some more, because we still don't want this. Go to the group, reduce the thickness by a whole lot. This looks cool. Put this right here, and we are going to add these items just listed out perfectly. Personalized itineraries. Let's just reduce this guy down, put this right here. We're going to reduce the thickness right now as well. Let's do 2. Personalized itineraries. Let's just get the description section here. Make sure to break the description here, especially when it duplicates out of your group. Break it out of the group. This is quite important, especially for the layouts and everything. Personalized itineraries. We are going to change the thickness here to bold, Let's do should we do semi bold, should we do medium? This is medium. Actually, medium works better for us. Let's do medium. Don't worry if it doesn't look perfect for now. It's not supposed to either. And we're also going to add a little bit of description text. So the description text also uses Veera sans, and the font size is reduced by 3 pixels, so we're using 5 pixels, so we're using thickness of 15 pixels now. Let's just copy this text. If you don't want to copy it, you can type your own text if you want to. You can also get some random text from lorem ipsum, but I'm just going to paste here. This is going to save so much time and so much energy. Let's shift it above and also sort of scrunch it together using the right handle. Left align this guy, add line height, a little bit of it because we need to, honestly. Add a little bit of space here. I feel like this is still too small, but that is going to be remedied soon, especially when we add a nice shade of color to it. So let's search for a really nice shade of blue and a really nice shade of orange. You can just go right here in the center of orange and yellow, and you're going to find this really nice shade of orange. Go a little bit lighter because we want things to be light on the eyes. This looks fine. FFC 300 is the font color that we're using for now. You can also increase the size of our icon. This looks cool. Let's get this guy shifted above, and we're also going to take all of these together now. Oops. If it all looks grouped inside of one, just click on Ctrl+Shift+G. That's going to ungroup everything for you. Press Shift and select this and this, group them together by clicking on Ctrl+G, and then select all of these together by pressing Shift and then grouping them together. Now we have a workable component which we're going to duplicate like 5 different times. If you're not happy with the height of this container, you can always adjust it. We're going to go right here and duplicate this guy like 5 different times. Oops. Copy paste, copy paste, and finally, oops, copy and paste again. And now we're going to generate for ourselves the light shade of blue that we were using. So just go right here, go to light blue, and get yourselves a really nice shade of light blue. This looks super duper cool. Check this out, you guys. This looks nice. I feel like you could just go for a really long time getting the perfect shade. The current shade of light blue that I'm using is 71F1FF, which is just perfect for my use case. And the orange is FFC300. So we're just going to get ourselves a really nice shade of light blue and orange, alternate them together, and change the text here as well. So if you're not happy with the text, you can change it. Obviously, I'm just going to copy and paste this text because we've already covered the styling. If you want to, you can pause this video at any time and type these out yourself. Copy this guy. I feel like we would reduce the font size some more, and that would look even better. Let's just reduce the font size a little bit more. Let's reduce the font size to let's do 14. 14 should be fine. We're going to select all of these at once, press Shift, and select all of these at once. Sometimes you just miss these and then you have to do them a couple of times, but worth it. In fact, I am now going to employ a genius strategy which I just thought about. You can go right here to the 4 buttons, add a style which is going to be our description for features. We're going to create a new text style now. Why is it not creating a new text style? Let's do description. No text style match. Let's create a new style. We're going to go right here and go to this guy, add a new text style. Let's do description, DESC. And now we're going to select all of these other descriptions and add this style to them. The beauty of this method is you can just change the description style once, and all of these linked guys are going to be changed like that. This can also be done for the titles, but I'm just going to do it for the description because I need to demonstrate it now. Now click out of everything that you've clicked into, and you're going to go right here to this style and change our font size from 15 to 14. Check this out, you guys. Just like that. Works so well. And you can do this once again. I feel like the font size needs to be reduced by a whole lot. Could we do 13? I feel like we could. Or we could just do 12. 13 looks fine. 12 looks very, very small. Let's do 13. Alright, now we're going to select all of these groups at once. And I don't think they're perfectly aligned as much as we need them to be. So we're just going to group them. Check it. They're not aligned at all. We're going to get them. And without even grouping them, without even framing them, as soon as all of them are perfectly selected, you're going to see this grid button. Click on this grid button. It's going to align everything for you perfectly. And that should do the job. So easy. Shift them below by a couple of pixels. Works so perfectly. And we are done with the 5th section of this UI. Let's now do the 6th section, which is what our clients say. This is the most universal section, the section that we need to have in almost every single site. It's also this perfect gray, white, black version of description testimonials that I've ever done. This is so quintessential, especially if you're just starting out in UI design. The perfect thing to add to your portfolio as a professional in UI UX design. Let's go. Let's add a frame. This is going to be where everything takes place. Place this frame inside of our main frame. Add a fill just so we know where it is. Make sure it's covering all of the width. And change the height to, let's do 625. And we're going to add a light shade of gray too. Let's do this shade of gray. Why are you not inside my main frame? Let's place this guy over here, and we're going to reduce the grayness. This looks cool. Be careful with the gray. It's really easy to overdo it. I feel like F3 should be good for now. Let's get a description section from the top and change it to what our clients say. Go right here, paste them inside, paste it inside, and change the text to what our clients say. What our clients say. How would I know what your clients say? Let's make sure it's in a single line, and if it's not, you're going to remove any weird spaces that you've added, like me. Auto width the whole thing so it's aligned in one single line. And now we are going to look at what our clients say. This is going to be a black section. The font is using a black shade, so we're just going to change this color to black. And also we're going to make sure there is no extra space here, because that really messes with your styling. Alright, now we are going to add these individual cards, which are the testimonials of everyone who is sort of using them. Let's go to our frames, create a single frame, which is 300 by 340 pixels. Add a fill, add a border radius, and add these images. Now all of these images you can find in the Discord group, so the link is already present. You can download it from the Discord group. I've linked the Discord group inside of our live chat, and we're just going to drag all of these images. It's very, very simple to do. Sophia Johnson, CEO, Elite Ventures, something. The simplest way in the world right now to generate fake names and fake testimonials is to go to this wonderful plugin I just found called Content Reel. So we're just going to get a text box for ourselves, add something over here so the text box doesn't disappear. Select the text box and go to Content Reel, which is a wonderful plugin in Figma. If you can't find it yet, search for Content Reel. And now when Content Reel runs, you can get a full name. Just apply all, and it's going to generate a random full name for you. And now we have a full name. Now we're just going to copy it. We'll worry about styling it later. We're going to paste it once again, and I feel like if we searched really hard, we could get positions as well, positions for companies as well. Let's do company. L'Oreal works well. Let's do CEO. And now we can worry about the testimonials. I feel like you know what, let's do the job title thing as well. So we are going to do the job title first, marketing coordinator, and then we're going to duplicate this, copy and paste this once again, and we're going to generate a company name. Let's you can also do a fake company name if you want to, but I feel like a real company name would just be nicer for this UI. Let's do oops company. Alright, so we have L'Oreal with us once again, and now we have our names of our person, their rank, their what they're coming from, and then we're going to add a little bit of the testimonials. So now we're going to close this out and start styling the name. The name and the position are both in Veera Sans. The name is at a font size of 22. The font, the description of what they are is at 14 pixels, both of which are fun sizes. Let's do 22. Change the font size to Veera Sans. Oops, Veera Sans. Atul asks if this plugin has Indian names or not. I don't think it does a lot of Indian names. I feel like it would just be simpler if you did your own Indian names. Like, that's just so much easier, and you could just have so much more with it, so much more fun with it. So let's just focus on the names it does give us for now, and then we can worry about them later. Oops, Veera Sans. Let's do Veera Sans. Font size is going to be 22 and font is going to be regular. Let's place this right here and change the fonts for our description as well. So this is going to use our gray that we just used before, and the font is going to be Veera Sans once again. Font size is actually just 15 pixels, very small number. And now we want the font weight to be regular. Let's just add a comma here, and we want the exact same styling that we have for our name to also be for our brand. So I'm just going to go right here and create a text style. Once again, add a text style. Let's do position, because this is for the position, and we're going to add the text style back here again. No styling needed whatsoever, just change the font color to gray, and that is it. Check this out, you guys. This was so easy. Let's press shift, select them both and group them together by pressing on Ctrl G. Make sure the spacing is very small or not present at all. Let's do 5 should do good. Align them in the center. This works well. And now we are going to add a description on what they think the company is like. We're just going to copy this text. You can pause this video or add your own description text, it really does not matter, and create a text box. Paste to let's do a fake text box. We're going to paste to match style, and then I'm going to talk about the styling that we're using. I feel like we've just reduced the font size here by a whole lot, so we're just, instead of 22 over here, we're doing 18, which is fun stuff. Perfect. Let's go right here, reduce the font size from 18 to 22. Sorry, from 22 to 18. Works. Font line height is going to be auto, because why not? This card is going to be just a little bit wider. Put everything in the center. Shift it down by a couple of pixels, and also align it perfectly in the center. We're going to widen this a little bit. Works perfectly. Perfect. Oops, what did I just do? We're going to go to this frame, change this height, make it a little bit wider. Looks good. Align this guy perfectly in the center. Shift this below by a couple of pixels. Shift this below as well. Get this, shift this below, shift this below as well, and now we have a working testimonial for our business. And all of these are inside of our frame. You can use auto layouts to adjust their sizing, but it truly does not matter. Let's copy and paste this back, oops, twice, so we have two other testimonials to work with. Let's group them together, Control G, add a layout, auto layout, and that's just going to align everything perfectly in the center for us. And we're also going to adjust the title to just be at the top. So we're just going to shift this below by a couple of pixels, and that is it. We have a perfectly working testimonials section, and now we just need to do two other sections. So this is very, very simple stuff. Do not worry about it at all. Before we do that, let's just change these images, change the text internally. I am going to do a different image this time. And we're going to go back to our content reel plugin, change the names. Change the ranks, go back. Go to the text section, and we're going to give this a job title. Add a comma. Change the company name. Let's do a company name. Walt Disney. Instead of Walt Disney Company, I'm just going to do Walt Disney. Now we're going to change the job title once again, and also do a company name. General Electric works, perfect. Done. And now we're going to align this in the center, align this in the center as well. Go to the group, align it in the center, and now we have these very nice looking testimonials with us. And we're also going to change the text that we have here. You can pause the video right this moment, type all of these out yourself. I'm just going to copy and paste them exactly as I need to. Do them once again. Oops. Now we're going to drag this frame, expand it to include our login sign up features as well. Increase the height, add a frame, just make it fit perfectly. This works. Change the background color to a light shade of blue, the exact same one which we were using in our previous section highlights. This one, drag it out of our previous frame, make sure it's perfectly visible, and now we are going to add a description section. Let's do join our community. Add a simple card. This is the simplest section ever. We're going to add a simple card, nothing to write home about, and add a fill, add a border radius. Just copy these numbers exactly as I'm doing. Nothing complicated about it at all. This is the simplest thing you can do. Add some height. This looks good. Add an image. Go right here, image, image, image. Place it right at the center. Do not worry about adjusting it, we've already adjusted the size for you. Join our community, sign up today. We're going to get both of these from the top section. So we have our title and description in this section. We're just going to copy this group 3, copy, and go back to the bottom, paste them. Now that we've pasted them here, we're going to change this font color to black. Actually 10101111, which is the black we're using here, and also change this to a gray that we were using before. We're also going to change the font sizes now. Go back, and the font sizes are actually quite small, so Playfair display is actually just 36 and sign up today is even smaller, only 18. Let's change this to 36 instead of 56 and change this from 20 to 18. We don't have an 18, so we're going to type an 18. Done. Oops, what did I just do? Oops. Why is this increasing the text? I haven't enabled numlock anyways. That was silly. That was embarrassing. Let's align this guy completely in the center. Align this here too, and I'm just going to copy the text. You can just type this out if you want to, but I'm just going to copy and paste it because I'm tired. Alright, we're going to get sign up today, copy, and also paste this inside. Now we are going to create a button which is going to be taken from our call to action buttons at the top and give the user an option to log in with Google. Paste this guy right here and add a Google sign up image. If you don't have a Google image, go to Iconify. You can search for it if you want to, of course. Search for Google, get this Google icon, or you can get this one. Either ways they work. I'm going to get my Google icon, reduce my width, make sure they are locked so they scale with each other instead of against each other. Place them inside of my frame as an element. Make sure it is completely visible. Why are you not visible now? Let's make sure everything is completely visible, everything is completely working. What is going on? You know what, let's get that icon once again. For some reason something went bad. Where did this go? I feel like I just scaled it too much and that just weirded everything out. Change the width, make it smaller. Reduce the width, bring it to the top, and we're going to give the option to sign in with Google. Reduce the width and height for this guy as well. Looks perfect. And add a width. Just scale the width here completely. Works. Now we're going to change this to have a border which is a little bit darker, so we're just going to add a gray here. Add a stroke which is just one shade darker. Change the color of the font to black. And now we have our sign in with Google option available with us. We can adjust the font size, increase this obviously, and adjust the spacing and everything just so it works well together. And we can add this or line too. Just completely very simple stuff. let's add a section here, add a section here. And then the reason we've added so many buttons is we're going to go to the line segment in the center, delete it, and add the word or here. So this just simplifies our job so much. Make sure this is inside of our frame 12. Copy the text. You know what, let's just add or. Super simple. Change the color to gray, change this to gray too. Done. And now we're going to add email addresses and signing up. Enter your email. Change the font to Veera Sans. Change this to an email input container. Now this is a quicker hack for making this guy lighter. Instead of actually changing the colors, you can just reduce the opacity, and that is also going to make this lighter. Let's get rid of the whole auto layout, and you can actually click on this button, and that's just going to ignore the auto layout, so you can give these sizes and stylings as you want. Now we're going to copy this text which says your best email address, copy and paste them right here. This is a super useful button because you can ignore the limitations of auto layout, which was my biggest concern when auto layout first came out. So this is a really good place to work with. Add the button to sign up with email. We're going to get this button from right here, copy and paste this guy once again. Get rid of our Google button. Change the Google to email and add a clause for our terms of service and privacy policy. I'm just going to copy the text bit from or, paste it back over here, and just change the clause of the text. You can take a moment to type this out, but this is just Veera Sans in the font size 12, so we're just going to paste here exactly as we just did. Let's now style this text to change it to regular, font size to 12, and we are done. This is it. We can make this a little bit thicker if we need to. That is the last step at all in any case. And now we have to make sure, we just have to make sure that there is sort of plenty of space to accommodate everything. So we're just going to get these frames, place them inside of our frame. What frame is this? This is no, what frame is this? This is frame 13. Everything that's outside of frame 13 but needs to be inside should go inside of frame 13 right now. And we're just going to align this perfectly in the center. Get this frame, make it a little bit bigger if you need to. And that is it. We are done with our second last section. Now we're going to design the perfect footer. Hold on to your hat for this because this is going to be a blast. We're going to design the best footer ever. Let's go to the bottom, adjust the height of our wonderful site, reduce this, and we're going to start very simply with the Elite Escapes name of our brand. So we're going to go back to the top, Very, very simply. Building this footer looks quite complicated, but it is the simplest thing in the whole wide world. Copy this and bring it back again. Paste it to replace. What did I just replace? Ooh, ooh. No, that was a bad step. Do not replace your whole frame. Paste it right here. Bring this. Change the thickness to let's do medium. Should we do medium? Let's do medium. Or should we just do a bolder version? I feel like we could go either ways with this. Let's do semi bold. Why not? Let's just do semi bold. Now we are going to add quick links, explore more, and connect with us. So we're just going to replicate this a bunch of times. Oops, why do I not know how to type? Quick links. What was the other one? Connect with us, explore more. Explore more. And finally connect with us. Copy and paste this guy and connect with us. Done. And now we're going to add all of these. So I'm just going to get one of these links, and now you're going to see the magic of typography styles. So this is just very, very simple. The same exact font that we've been using, Veera Sans. The font size has been reduced by a little bit. Let's do 14, and we're going to make this regular once again. Change the link to say destinations. Oops, destinations. Yay. And now we're going to add a typography style. Let's do link for the footer. Let's do footer link. And we're going to sort of, oops, why did I not do the footer link? Let's now duplicate this a bunch of times. So we're just going to do 4 on each. The reason we make these typography styles is because it just gets really easy to change everything all at once, especially if you need to do it quickly and don't want to waste a lot of time. I'm just going to copy and paste all of these individual words because it is going to take a lot of time to type out individually. Let's do 4 others. Let's just copy this group and paste it once again. Why did I just do that? Let's just get this group right here perfectly aligned, and we're going to change each of these texts. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Make sure to give it an auto width so everything is in the same line, and also terms of service. Copy, paste. Let's do one final section. Let's now do our final section. I'm making sure everything is in a single line, which is an improvement from our previous version where everything was in double lines. This does seem a little bit weird and wonky. I am going to replace all of these with singular lines, straight lines. And we are done, finally. Now we're going to do our newsletter section. Let's do a simple newsletter section. It is using the font size 18 and then 14.2 and then 12. Let's go. Paste this here, remove this guy, change this to 18. Done. Change the font here to stay updated. Done once again. Let's do subscribe to our newsletter for exclusive offers and updates. And now this is going to have the exact font size from this guy, so we're just going to copy and paste this once again. and we're going to reduce the font size from 18 to 14. Very, very simple stuff. Make sure to give it auto width so everything just stays perfectly aligned, and we're going to enter the email address and subscribe button. So instead of sort of working with this yourself, in fact, why did I not change this color? Why? It could be because I haven't slept in a really long time. This is the same yellow which we were using in our features section. We're going to get these, paste them once again, get them right here, and reduce this width by a whole lot, increase this thickness by a whole lot. Done. Finally, we're going to do this weird warning section. I'm going to copy the text, change the font size to 12 on what we've been usually doing for this long. Oops, what did I just do? Let's just paste this here once again. Nope. Why do I always do this? Why do I paste to replace? Completely stupid. Paste here. And this is just font size 12 version of thing that we've been doing for such a long time. Use your handle to sort of adjust the spacing and everything. Group them together if you need to. Control G is the shortcut for that. And also, I feel like that's it. Just going to take this whole thing together, align, like, let's group them together, align them in the center perfectly. And now we're going to do this last final line. I am so happy at the way this is turning out, you guys. Just the simplest, easiest thing to get done. And we're going to do 2024 elite escapes, all rights reserved. Let's copy this. Oops, let's just, the font size for all of these is also 14, so we can just go to the top. Oops, let's just go to the top, get this guy out. Let's just place this outside of our frame and do 2020 copyright 2024 elite escapes, all rights reserved. No font styling needed here whatsoever. Then we're going to do 3 other links. Just paste this 3 other times. Before I get my text in, let's just press shift, select 3 of these, group them together, add an auto layout, just make sure everything is perfectly lined up. And now privacy policy, terms of service, and cookie preferences. Copy this guy, paste it right here, go to terms of service. Oops, why did I just do that? Copy this and paste it right here as well. Thirdly, cookie preferences, copy and paste it here too. Now you can just take this group, place it further apart, just sort of work with it for as long as you want to. That is it. That is pretty much it. Now we are going to present our wonderful completed UI. Check this out, you guys. Super duper cool stuff. I'm just going to close everything because I am so happy at the way this has turned out. Our wonderful portfolio project. So many things that work so well together. There is animated buttons which are so fun to work with. Just the ultimate UI designer's dream. Glass morphism, hero section, perfect call to action buttons, rounded edges, the best heaven call to action buttons you could ever ask for, the most amazing looking mission section ever, golden black, perfect contrast, along with a very nice shade of stability gray. The gallery of our dreams, truly an unconventional gallery, something you don't see every single day. This would be amazing to see come to life with code. This is just awesome stuff. There is also why choose a section, which is actually quite nice in terms of the options it gives us. Very comfortable, super duper cute looking. Testimonial section about what our clients say is also completely on point. And then we have the usual sign up button. This is looking really good. And finally we have our grand, amazing looking footer section, which is awesome as well. I am so proud of the way this has just turned out. Completely awesome stuff. I am also going to share it with all of you, so you can also join me in the fun. Watch this live. Let's paste this right here. Oops, I don't think I can. Let me just get a URL shortener really. Oops, let me get a URL shortener really quickly. Shorten the URL, copy the URL. Oops, paste this guy right here, and that is it. Now you can also join in the fun. Check this guy out, have some fun with it, have fun with the glass morphism, have fun with the super cute animations, add this to your actual portfolio, and it is going to be a blast. I will see you next time tomorrow for day 35 of the 100 days of UI design challenge at 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time and 2:30 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Until then, take care, keep designing, and I'll see you around.